Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King 3. And today I'm going to be giving you part 8 of What If Naruto awakened the Yellow Rinnegan after his exile. Remember to get this one to 200 likes as usual, share this to all of your friends in your social media platform, and also guys, go ahead and check out the brand new episode of What If Naruto was a direct descendant of the sage over on Anime King. Link will be at top of the description for you guys to enjoy. And remember, if you're new and this is the first time you hear my voice, and you enjoyed the videos on both Anime King and Anime King 3, go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and your support. And yeah, without further ado, let's get straight into this new episode. Start the intro. So, the last spot we left off, as Naruto was standing at the entrance with the Konoha group. As Sakura apologized, she begged him to come back with them. As Kakashi noticed the clothes that Naruto was wearing and seen here with Gaara. But Naruto didn't answer any of his questions as Shikamaru could not hold Naruto within his shadow, as that was rather surprising. Naruto simply sucked it away in his palm. As Sakura started to cry as she apologized over and over again, but he looked at her and asked her if she's done, as she heard the cold tone in his voice the way he spoke, as Kakashi told him to stop him, as he's hereby arresting Naruto as charged of being a part of the Akatsuki that helped kidnap the Kazekage. That was a way that they could get him in the village. As they tried to stop Naruto, but it proved, well, worthless, as he simply casually walked towards the entrance, blowing them back and using his tails as well, as Yamato tried to stop him as well. Naruto ended up breaking the wood prison after a wither away, as he sapped all the chakra away from it. As Guy team came there as well, as they were confused and surprised, as Neji, Guy, Lee, Tenten, all of them attacked him and they tried to stop him, but none of them could. Even though they weren't going all out, they still could not stop him, as Naruto spoke to Kakashi and told him that he'll be by Konoha soon enough to speak to Tsunade about the future. And with that he headed off. As Naruto made his way towards the sand, as he walked straight into the village, flying over them when they tried to intercept him, as Temari and Kankuro were shocked to see what he was wearing. Gaara woke up in his office as he was confused, as Naruto spoke to him and told him that soon enough he'll have to make a choice. And he prayed that he made the right one. The way Naruto said it though, it was like a threat he was giving. But Naruto simply told him to think what he want, as Gaara couldn't believe that, well, this was the way that Naruto turned out. Time passed as the group made their way towards Konoha. Tsunade was shocked, appalled, as she couldn't believe what she was hearing, as Jiraiya couldn't believe it either, but he was ready to go out there and find Naruto immediately and knock some sense into him. The one that took it hard was Hinata, as she couldn't believe it. Why would her Naruto give up like that? She still couldn't believe it when she heard from Sakura, as she was angry. She couldn't understand, why would he give up hope like that? The Naruto that she knew that was always smiling. We then skip as Naruto was talking to Sasori, as he finally got contact with his spy Kabuto there. Orochimaru was the one that made him make contact, as someone has been destroying his bases that people should not know about, means that someone in his rank was giving out information and he wanted to know, and it seems like Sasori had a hand in this, seeing that he was calling for Kabuto now. So Orochimaru told him to take the meeting. So in 10 days they will meet up at the Tenchi Bridge. Back to the Hidden Rain, as Naruto was currently with Karin, as she had made some friends in the village. It was a team of Kunoichi and they were rather nice. Well, after all, she had to have something else to do while Naruto was gone, as they were having dinner. Telling her that she was a big part of everything made her feel all warm and nice. As Naruto went to speak to Nagato, as when the Uzumakis were destroyed, most of them had fled, as they had made their way towards the surrounding villages, seeing that they were near to Kiri. But they had to change their disguises, as Naruto was going there. As long as he's there, he was going to go after Yagura, as the Civil War was still going on. As Nagato told him when he come back he wants to tell him something, as he figured that it was time to tell Naruto about Madara. As Konan met Naruto on the roof, as he told her about the plan. Konoha knew that something was off about him. She has been seeing it for some time now. He tried to act all calm, but Konoha see that sometime he slipped up a bit. She didn't know where this anger or rage came from, but he had a lot of it inside of him, and he could not pack it away, all of it. As she was, well, worrying about his safety, that came as a surprise to her than anyone else as well. She realized her, well, mood was not making things any better, as she ended up splashing water on him. Naruto smiled. She said that was for Snowball, as they made their way. So yeah guys, that's basically that's what left off. You guys can switch across the place and check it out for yourself. So what do you say begin this new episode? Tsunade was currently sitting down in her office, as Jiraiya was leaned up against the windowsill. As he was reading a scroll before he handed it back to Tsunade. Is that all? He asked. Tsunade nodded, as it was a scroll from Gaara, giving a full detail of the talk with Naruto that he had. As Tsunade had a rather troubled look on her face. Can this really be Naruto? She said. As Jiraiya sighed. As much as we don't want it to be him, it is him. But what does he mean by choice? Choice for the future. I think this is way worse than we thought, Yeah, I know, said Tsunade. The way he spoke to Gaara, it was like he was preparing to start something. And if Gaara wasn't a part of it, it was going to be bad for his village. He clearly tell him that he can think if it's a threat or not. And he wants to talk to me as well. Do you think he will make me the same choice? Well, although he has changed, a person can't just forget everything that they've went through. It can't be that easy to just completely forget everything, everyone who once cared about you. But the old Naruto would never attack his team. He would have never done something like that. And how? How was he able to defeat them all? Despite them not trying to hurt him, just trying to bring him back. I mean, Kakashi, Guy, Yamato was there. How was that even possible? I know what you mean. This is just becoming more and more troublesome, said Jiraiya, as he sighed. I don't understand myself what happened to him, but I'll find out. And when I do find him, I'll drag him here myself. Be careful, said Tsunade. Do you really think that he would attack me? Asked Jiraiya as he looked at her. I don't know what he's capable of at the moment. If he's willing to attack people that he cared about. You don't have to worry about me, Jiraiya says. He gave her a smile. After all, don't you remember who I am? As he looked at her. Don't worry. You will see the brat soon enough. And then we can knock some sense into him and get him back to the... Jiraiya stopped mid-sentence. Oh, about that. I know, said Tsunade. None of them had really thought about what is the, well, extent to them bringing him back. What were they going to do after that? He was still banished from Konoha. Land of Fire orders. Well, we'll find a way, Jiraiya said. Don't give up hope. Tsunade nodded as Jiraiya made his way through the window. Meanwhile, far off the coast border of Kiri, two people touched down on the island. Both of them were in the Akatsuki clothing. It was none other than Konoha and Naruto. As they made their way, as Naruto looked around, he saw kunais and shurikens. They didn't bother to change anything. They just left it the way it is. As he kept on walking, as Konoha looked at the place in front of her. Despite being at Uzumaki Nagato, has never once talked about this place, or well, tried to visit it. But she never been here before. But seeing the wreckage of the place, it was bad. She glanced towards Naruto. His face was completely neutral. She couldn't sense anything from him. As Naruto stepped deeper and deeper, until he came upon the broken gates. Red and white. Beautiful tiling now destroyed. All over the place, nothing but shambles. He stepped past it, stepping into the heart of the village. There was no defensive barriers. Seems like everything was broken through upon the invasion. The ground was scorched. Trees were toppled over. The grass was high, grown over in time. Buildings destroyed. He could see from explosion as he touched a nearby wall, but the thing crumbled down upon his touch. The place was weak. As he stepped deeper, Konan, not saying anything as she followed behind him, looking at the destruction that they left. As he saw a large blackened area with a few bones remaining, they had burned the bodies. As Naruto's fists clenched tight, it was then that Konan felt it once again, that spark of something slipping every time she was near him. She felt the power, like there was some kind of a lock there. And sometimes it just slipped on its own, but this time it was targeted. Naruto took a deep breath. This was not the time to lose himself at the moment. This rage inside him has been getting worse and worse. Seeing his homeland like this, Naruto looked around where he saw himself. He saw himself along with Kushina. From the vague descriptions that Kaya gave him, well, most of them look similar just because of their red hair, with their purple eyes. As he saw himself with a lot of kids running around playing, other Uzumaki kids, a small smile came to his face. He had a goal. He had a dream. Losing himself would not accomplish that. As Naruto scanned the entire place with his eyes, focusing, he saw something. What is it? Said Konan. She noticed his eyes. There's a seal underground. What? She said. Yes, as he looked around. In fact, it's all over the island. Are you sure? She said. As she was surprised there was a seal at large. Yes. It is dormant at the moment. As Naruto followed the seal towards the center, where they came upon a building. It was not fully destroyed, but the walls were broken down. As they stepped inside, the place was hollow and empty. Everything was in pieces. As Naruto was confused, as he focused, it was under. Naruto reached his hand down and brushed away all the dust that covered up the spot. As he was brushing away the dust, his hand nicked on something sharp. As a small bit of his blood fell down in the seal, an overwhelming pressure suddenly filled the entire area as steam erupted from the ground, forcing the both of them to jump away. What's going on? Said Konan. I'm not sure, said Naruto. As he watched, a secret passageway opened up. Naruto stepped forward. There's no life form down there, he said. Let's go. As she followed behind him as he made his way down, as it was a long stairway, before the both of them came to a empty floor. Naruto raised his hand as a flicker of flame came in his palm. He focused. He had control over all natures, as he could twist them and bend them in certain degrees. The flame turned to a small ball, illuminating the area. As Naruto stepped forward, as he saw blood on the wall, dried up blood. Stepping deeper and deeper inside, both of them made their way in silence, before they arrived to a rather large wall in front of them. As Naruto saw a skeleton there, but he had a book in his hands. They were set like he held on to the book until he died. Stepping forward, Naruto reached and moved his hands and picked up the book. As Naruto noticed that the first few pages were ripped out clean. It was only end pages left. As it read, I don't know who's reading this, but if you're a Uzumaki that made it out, I'm glad. The only way to achieve our treasures is by being one of us. If you're not, and you're one of the attackers, I hope you rot in hell, all of you, that hunt and burned and killed us. Being a Uzumaki, you should know that we were masters in Fuinjutsu. So there's a way. I need to find out before you know anything else. This book will not help you if you cannot. Stop this. Stop what? Naruto thought. The moment he said that, a massive seal and array lit up over the area. Konan and Naruto felt it instantly, as it was chakra suppressors. Konan couldn't break her body apart, as she couldn't feel her chakra at the moment. She looked around. What's going on? Seems like we walk into a trap, said Naruto, as he could barely feel the hole on his Rinnegan, when the wall in front of him suddenly opened up. 3 well-placed kunai, as they were pointed towards Konan, who was standing right in the center, seeing as she was behind him. As they fire, Konan, he shouted. As she turned, Naruto shot forward as quickly as possible, pushing her out of the way. But he felt nothing. As he stand right in the path, The kunais had suddenly stopped. As Naruto looked down, they were just hovering in mid-air. He noticed all of them had strange sealings on them. Before one of them came forward and pricked his skin a bit as his blood fell to the ground. Another steel array went off as the previous one fell, as Konoha felt the return of her chakra. But she wasn't focused on that at the moment, as she was looking at Naruto was standing there. Despite not knowing what was going to happen, he was willing to take that for her. She was confused. Despite him always going about them being teammates, he was willing to die for her. As he looked at her with a small smile, "I guess all that it wanted was a bit of my blood," he said. As he extended his hand, she hesitantly took his hand. Why? "What are you talking about?" he said. "You jumped in the way. You could have died. And all of this that you have done so far would have been for nothing." "Well, I told you already. We're partners. Partners have people back." "But you would have died," she said. Naruto smiled even more. "I like that you're so angry because you care about me," he said. Her face returned back to normal. "This is serious. If you had died, your dreams would have gone down." "Well, I told you already. I have your back. I just hope that you have mine," he said. As he picked back up the notebook, "If you pass through the test, that means you are indeed a Uzumaki. I don't know of the status of our clan in the world right now, but many of us were able to survive. They went through the secret tunnel under the village, but they had to change. Changing their hair colors, changing their appearance just a bit, to make their way inside the neighboring countries all around the nation. Most of them flee off to Kiri, despite Kiri being one of the village that attacked us. But at the state Kiri was in, they could easily slip in, because most of their manpower was focused on our village. About the others, I don't really know. But if you are, being here and coming so far, I pray that you have one goal to bring back the Uzumakis. Our clan should not just be wiped from existence like that. Whoever you are, you have the fate, all the backings and power of the Uzumakis behind you. I don't think I'm gonna survive for any much longer. Kind of bleeding out here while I write this. But whoever you are, just know, the Uzumakis shall not fall. They will continue on." It ended with a drop of blood, as Naruto saw the wall had opened up. As he stepped forward along with Konoha, she peeped her head over his shoulder, looking by him. As Konoha was shocked to what she saw, Naruto held out a hand to stop her. "What's the problem?" "Don't want another nasty trick coming up," said Naruto as he stepped forward. "Better I go instead." As he placed his hand on the wall, touching it, but nothing happened. As he stepped inside to see gold. A lot of valuable things inside. Expensive artifacts. And not to mention, money. This was a vault. Scrolls littered the wall. As Naruto opened one of them, it's flowing jutsu. Another techniques. But there was something behind that though, a pedestal, with a single seal on it. "Refurnish." It read at the bottom. As Naruto kneeled down a bit, tracking the seal, as it was the one that was all over the village. "Uzu will never fall." He saw those words once again. He reached out and placed a hand on the seal. It then happened. He felt his chakra being pulled out of his body, as he heard rumbling going on outside. "Konan, can you go up and tell me what is going on?" he asked. She nodded as she made her way up. A few seconds later she came back. I don't know if this is possible, but the walls, the buildings, they're rebuilding themselves." "What?" As Naruto looked down, so that's what it meant. This village has a self-fixing seal. But to restore the entire village would take a lot of chakra, he said. Naruto placed his hand across seal as a clone poofed beside him. He placed his hand on the clone's shoulder as the clone nodded towards him, before Naruto stepped past the clone, who placed his hand back on the seal. As Naruto started to walk away, "Do you really think a clone can supply this village with that much chakra?" she asked. "Well," as she noticed Naruto swaying a bit. "What did you do?" she asked. "We're gonna have to rest for a bit," said Naruto. "Well, I am. I gave him a lot of my chakra to do it, but that should be enough, he said. The moment he walked out though, the vault door closed behind him. As he stepped back as it opened, the clone looked at him, but he simply gave him another nod. As Naruto stepped out as the vault door closed, making their way back up to the surface, the village was rebuilding itself. I don't know how long this is gonna take, but it's gonna take a while. Do you suggest we stay here and wait till it happens? She asked. Oh no, said Naruto, it will be fine. As they made their way towards the village, stopped once again. As he started to go through hand sign, but Konan placed a hand on his, stopping his hand sign. Haven't you already used up enough chakra? I'm so happy you're worried about me, Angel, said Naruto, but I'll be fine. As she looked at him, this is not time for your jokes. This can leave you depleted for anything that is to come. Remember, we still have a mission to do. Oh, I remember, said Naruto. But we can rest for a while, I mean, go to a nice hotel on the way. You wouldn't mind that, right? Konan looked at him. Well, given the way that you're still holding onto my hand, I guess you wouldn't. She removed her hold, making her to smile as he slammed his hand down. Summoning, he said. There was 5 massive poof. As Konan stood there, the smoke then moved away to reveal 5 massive beasts. They were nothing like Nagato had ever summoned before. They had a rather large head, as they had fangs all over their mouth, 2 reptilian eyes, a long tail. One of them was the size of a 3-story house that could trample villages if Naruto let them on a rampage. The most that she knew about the Krita path was that the wielder could imagine what he wanted to summon. Using pure chakra manipulation, Nagato was able to bend and bring these summons to reality. And Naruto was able to do the same, but his thinking was a lot different from Nagato's, as she didn't know what these creatures were. You like them? Said Naruto. I decided to call them dinosaurs, he said. Why? She asked. Just a thought, he said to himself. But they're pretty awesome. I can see everything that they see, so we don't have to worry. And besides, no one comes to Uzu these days. Can't you see that the place has been abandoned? And while this reconstruction go on, they will watch the place. Don't you have to keep on supplying them with chakra to sustain it? Yes, but that shouldn't be a problem. Don't worry, I'll be fine in a couple of minutes, he said. As he felt the chakra inside his stomach start to push its way through his body, as he was purifying the Kyuubi's chakra, sending it all over his body. The moment it made contact with his Krita path, it purified in an instant. He still haven't attempted to break that seal. At the moment he was only still going off of probably 25% of the Fox chakra, or probably 20. But there wasn't a need so far, because all that he's faced so far, they haven't been able to best him. And from what he has done to become so strong, it shouldn't be that easy. So what now, said Konan? Well, a bit of resting, then we make our way towards. Naruto fist clenched. Here, he said. Do you think that is wise? She asked. What do you mean? He said, turning towards her. Given your state. Hey, what do you mean my state? You're saying like I have a mental issue or something. Well, at the moment I don't know what to call it, she said. But you already shown ease to lose yourself. Do you think it's wise for you to go there? After all, those people were the one that targeted your clan. Yeah, I know that, said Naruto. But don't worry, it will be fine. After all, it's not like we're going there to help or anything. We're just going there for Yagura, not to speak or having a long conversation. The faster, the better. You know he's a Kage, right? Of course I do. Do you really think that little of my strengthener to ask? As she said nothing, as she started to walk away. Hey, do you really think I'm that weak? He said to her, as she kept on ignoring him and walking off. As noticed him his size, he followed behind her. Time skip. 2 members of the rebellion faction was currently scouting out the area. Things have been hard. Incredibly hard over the past few months. They were winning. Yagura went on the defensive. He transformed into the 3-tailed turtle and massacred a large part of their forces, leaving them completely unable to do anything else than just run. In that state, it was unable to take him on, not to mention he had the backing of the shinobis behind him, a lot of them. That is why it was so hard, as they were pushed back tremendously Even their grounds that they were gaining, they were pushed back. None of them had the feet right now to take him on, as they just had to regroup. But they were still watching out the border. He still did not know exactly where they were, because if he did, he would come here and trample them. Well, they had faith in their leader, but the man possessed a bijou, and he was just powerful. Although they had faith in Meiterumi, it was still hard to imagine anyone taking down that beast on their own. As the two sensors were nearby, scouting out the air as they were shifts, as one of the men turned. Well, I'm going to take off now. I'm going to send Ducky here. The next man nodded. Before the two of them stopped, they felt something coming. As the both of them turned, their eyes sharpening, sending shock to them. As they could barely see through the mist from here, it was both an advantage and a disadvantage, but they were used to it, being Kiri shinobis. But the person wasn't anywhere nearby, so how can someone chakra be this? As the man started to worry, is it him? No, I don't think so. I don't sense the usual taint of a bijou, but this chakra is just so overwhelming. Who the hell is behind this? They felt a flicker and it was gone. It was not gone, it was right in front of them. Hey, are you two a part of the Brilliant Forces? They heard a voice. They slowly turned their head in fear as they reached for their kunai pouches, but nothing was there. Naruto tossed their kunais to the side. I'm not here to kill you two, or the people a part of Rebellion Forces. I just want some information. And I'm in a haste, so can you please hurry up? As two of them narrowed their eyes at each other. They have to report this immediately. They already felt the power this man held, whoever he is. The mist was still blocking his face, as they could not see him fully. What they did see though, was eyes. Golden eyes. I'm talking to you two, said Naruto. And what if we are? What do you want? I want to speak to your leader, said Naruto. And you think that we're just gonna let you? Naruto sighed as his eyes pulsed. Flash step, he said. The next thing they knew, he was behind them. As the both of them gasped, they felt something warm running down their throat. As they reached and touched it. As it was, the one beside him fell. As he looked at his hand to see that it was blood. As he collapsed as well, with the kunais to their throat. You know, it's hard to find our way in this mist, even with those eyes of yours, said Konoha, and she floated down beside him. As Naruto sighed, these two seemed too hesitant to talk. I told you, we're not here to talk. Can you go up a distance, Naruto asked. What are you gonna do? I'm tired of this damn mess. I'm gonna send it away. Konoha fly up in the air, as Naruto hover above the ground just a bit, before extending his hand. Almighty. Push! The rippling force blew away all of the mist, sending it sailing far and wide. As Naruto adding a bit of wind chakra into the mix, as the mist was blown away completely. Konoha touched back down on the ground, as the place was fully visible now, no longer hiding them. Naruto's eyes scanned the air as he saw the trace of chakra underneath ground, as they were running. As he started to run, as Konoha followed behind him, running as well. Meanwhile, at the camp, Meiterumi felt it. She was not too far from the location as she felt that surge of overwhelming chakra. Suddenly, a man burst inside. Ayo, is it him? Has he found us? No, but this chakra the sensors has felt, it's different. Different how? Overwhelming. Something they can't even fathom. I don't know who this is. It's not Yagura, but it seems like someone worse. Is all of the remaining forces here, asked Mei. Yes. Mei got to her feet, as she got her things ready. Ma'am, where are you going? I won't just stand behind and let whoever this is come in here and kill my people. I will fight as well. But you can't! The people needs a strong leader at the moment. We will handle this. You just please stay here. Ayo, be quiet. I won't leave my people to fend for themselves, she said, as she stepped out of the tent. May had beautiful green eyes, as she had a burgundy colored hair, as she was dressed in a blue dress with a split at the middle, so her legs could be shown. As she looked to be in her late 20s, as she had a rather wonderful figure. She made her way, as the forces around her started to gather and prepare themselves. It was then that they saw two people making their way through the mist. Whoever this was, he found his way exactly here. Ayo stood by her side, his byakugan gun already activated. Ayo had to quickly shut off his byakugan gun as he grabbed onto his eye. What happened? Whoever that is, that amount of chakra is not normal. I don't know if he did it on purpose, but there is a ripple of chakra coming out of his body that's affecting my eyesight. May turned her head as she got ready for anything. They didn't have time to run or move their camp. They had to fight. The first thing they saw was a woman as she made her way out of the mist. They saw her golden eyes and her blue hair. May then saw the clothing as she knew exactly who these were. The Akatsuki. As she's been hearing rumors about the organization, and the rumors are that they even started here in the mist. But what would they want with her? As she was confused. She had heard recent rumors about them going after the Kazekage because of the tail beast inside of him. If that was what they wanted, what were they doing here? There was no She paused. But Yagura was not here. Were they after him? Who's the leader here? She almost didn't see the other one when he finally stepped out of the mist. She could literally feel it. A well of unruly chakra just swirling inside of him. As he was rather handsome and tall. Long, golden hair, with golden eyes as well, with ripple pattern in them. As Mei looked at those eyes curiously. They looked like something that she once read in a legend. Who is the leader here? Said Naruto, as he looked over the place. As Ayo narrowed his eyes. That would be me, he said. What do you want? As Mei turned and looked towards him, but she knew what he was doing. As you first want to see what they wanted. But Mei didn't like that she stepped forward but Ayo stepped in front of her. Tell me, what do you want? Naruto looked around. All of their forces were ready. All of them, with kunais or other weapons, standing, ready to jump in at any moment notice. It made his blood boil as he wondered if this was how the Uzumakis felt when they all came in on them and attacked them. As Naruto took a deep breath in and out, he really shouldn't be here. His eyes scanned around as he saw no Uzumakis. Yes, he saw none of that chakra trait that the Uzumakis possess. You're lying, said Naruto, as the man's chakra had fluctuated when he lied. Pardon me, but my advisor here just wanted to see your intentions. As Naruto turned towards the woman, are you the leader? Yes, I am, she said. Now, could you kindly calm yourself? As Naruto narrowed his eyes, you are producing a lot of chakra at the moment, and if you keep on doing that, Yagura and his forces will find us. That is if you're with him, of course. Then this will go another way. I'm not with Yagura or any of you people, said Naruto. In fact, I want to find Yagura. This place is shrouded in so much mist. I can't even tell where the exact village is. So tell me, where is it? Said Naruto. I don't even feel enough chakra signatures for it to be on this island. Is it not here? You watch your tongue when you're speaking to her, said Ayo as he stepped forward. I don't know who you are, or what. Shut your mouth, said Naruto, as his chakra started to flare. You don't know who I am, so you should stop from running your mouth before it gets you into trouble. I'm gonna ask one more time. Where is Yagura? And what is it that you wish to discuss with him? Asked me. I'm afraid that is none of your concern. Those clothing that you wear. I heard about the recent activities of the Akatsuki. Do you wish to steal the three tails from Kiri? And if I do, how does that concern you? Naruto asked. Well, the three tails is still a property of Kiri. So I'm afraid that would be voting bad between me and you. As Naruto felt all men around them, their weapons clench. Conan, could you give me some room? What you gonna do? She asks. I'm gonna kill them all, he said. Everyone tensed hearing that word, as me focused on him. There wasn't even a hint of joking on his face. He was serious. As she then felt it, an alarming amount of chakra started to build inside of his body. As Conan spread her wings and started to fly away. Wait, she stopped him. As Ayo was about to get ready, he was confused. Why shouldn't they fight him? Mei had a rather concerning look on her face. Sweat was running down her brow. She felt it a moment ago. The alarming amount of chakra. She didn't know what he was about to do. But she looked at her people. He's not on this island. Then where is he? Said Naruto. The third island to the north. After all, we had to stay a good distance away from him, she said. She felt the chakra slowly receding back into him. As she released a breath, she saw her soldiers all around quivering, especially the sensors. They were scared. You're smart, said Naruto. You act fast. I hope when you become the leader of Kiri, you will have that same sense to react before anything bad happens. Oh? And what's that supposed to mean, said Mei. Well, let's just say it's a bit of a warning. The next time I ask you a question, and you hesitate, I'll kill you. One of the men around had enough, as he snapped. How dare you talk to me something like that? As he pulled his blade and rushed towards Naruto. Stop, Mei shouted. But it was too late as the man was already coming down to slice Naruto's throat. But Naruto didn't even move a single muscle. Suddenly, the man smashed in the ground. As Konan was watching from a distance as she was confused. She never saw Nagato use his Tendo Pad like that before. The gravity around the man just seemed to amplify beyond what is possible. The man felt his eyelids going down as his head started to shake violently. The sword fell from his hand as his head smashed into the ground. His literal body was pulled because of the force that was dropped on him, till his brain was squashed in with his skull. As his body folded up, blood exploded from his ears, his mouth and his eyes. As Naruto looked down at the man before the pressure subsided, he was already dead. The others tensed as 3 kunais were thrown towards Naruto. They didn't learn. Naruto raised his hand up as Mei jumped in and blocked the kunais. That's enough, she said. All of you stop. Being a leader, one must know when to fall back, and one must know when to react. Ayo saw how Mei was tense and sweating. She understood the situation. That is enough, she said. You've gotten your information. You can leave. Well, if they didn't attack me, this wouldn't have happened. Next time, keep your dogs on a good leash. As he started to walk away, they all looked towards their leader, but she gave them no command to attack. As Mei was standing there. When Naruto finally left, she wiped the sweat off her brow. As he looked towards Ayo, she sighed. That power felt unnatural. This was 10 times different from Yagura's power. It was strange. It made her very insides felt like they were gonna explode just by nearing him. She looked over as a few of the sensors had passed out from the fluctuation which Naruto released. A distance away, as Naruto and Konoha made their way, not wasting time, quickly made their way towards the island. This one was different though, as they had to fly right over it and landed. The moment they landed though, Naruto felt it, the chakra signatures. His eyes scanned the entire area as he turned his head towards the north. He felt a large amount of chakra signatures over towards the side. As Konan landed beside him, you know, that could have gone better without escalating. Well, it doesn't matter, said Naruto. What do you mean, she asked. They're all gonna be dead soon anyway. Konan looked at him confused. As he then smiled. Sorry, I don't mean to be so cold with you. It's just this place is really angering me, he said. It's alright, I understand. You do, he said. I knew it must be hard seeing them this way after what we just witnessed at Uzu. It's okay if you're angry. Thank you, Angel, he said, as she turned her head, with a small smile on her face, but she shook it off instantly. There's a lot of them here. Uzumakis? Yes. I can feel their chakra signatures, and also see them. My eyes seem to be focusing directly on theirs. It's quite strange. I never experienced something like this before. At first, it was just Karen. Just one, but now. Naruto closed his eyes as he sent out his chakra in a wide pulse. Inside of the office in Kiri, Yagura snapped his head up as he looked towards his side, where one of his envoys dropped down. What is that? He said. I don't know, my lord. I'll investigate at once. The man then quickly flashed out the room. Meanwhile, Naruto had his eyes closed as he felt it, like he could just... As he latched onto the chakra, Naruto's eyes pulsed just for a single moment as Naruto found himself in a wide area where he saw people looking around confused. Huh? Where are we? Hey, what's going on? One of them asked. Are you people Uzumakis? Naruto's voice echoed over the area. They turned as they couldn't see who they were talking to. Who's there? One of them asked. What's going on? I don't know how is this possible, but I am currently connected to your chakra. All of you are Uzumakis. We don't know what you're talking about, a rather old man said. We don't know what this is, but you're mistaken. You don't have to be afraid. The time of being afraid and being scared is over. I am here to liberate you all. The Uzumakis will rise again. The man's eyes snapped towards that. You've been there? Yes. I know all of you have been running for years now, hiding, unable to face your home ever again. Unable to wear the proud crest, unable to stand proud. And I'm sorry, it took me so long to get here. But you don't have to worry anymore. My name is Naruto Uzumaki, and I'm going to liberate you all from this place. You no longer have to keep your identity a secret. You no longer have to run. You no longer have to feel scared. You no longer have to hide who you are. As Naruto turned his head, they could not see him, but he could see them. You, what's your name? As he looked towards the elderly man. Me? The man said. Yes, said Naruto. As the man could feel the pressure just surrounding him when Naruto asked that question. My name is Uzumaki, Rengoku. The man felt a warmth as Naruto's power washed over them all. Rengoku, you're the eldest here. You knew, and you know our clans, our law, and everything that has been taken away from us. But no more will you run. No more will you hide. All of you. I want you to meet me at the west entrance of the village. I will personally take care of Yagura myself. You have nothing to fear, nothing to run from, nothing to hide. No more shall you stay here and fear. Rengoku and the others were a bit scared. But the Mizukage and his forces, I'll handle them, said Naruto. As he released another pulse, they felt the wave of chakra wash over them. Something that gave them hope. Even the few kids that were there smiled. They couldn't understand why, but they felt something wash over them. Rengoku then spoke. My fellow Uzumakis, it seems that the time has come. A savior has come. All of you, make your way. It is time for you to all go home, said Naruto. As the connection then cut, Konan tapped Naruto on his shoulder. Are you okay? She asked. Yes, I'm fine, he said. I was able to connect with the Uzumakis. Connect, she said. Yes, I don't know how myself, but I was able to connect with all of them. Well, we don't know the fullest extension of those eyes of yours. So perhaps you can do things that Nagato can't. And besides, back there, what did you do to that man? I've never seen Nagato use the Tendo path in that way before. Well, It's quite strange, I don't know really how to explain it. But, watch. As Naruto raised his hand as a small part of the earth was pushed apart by a tiny force. But only one of the ring in his eye on left eye glow. This time a ring in the left eye and a ring in the right eye glow. As he raised his hand as the pressure lift the earth out of the ground as he clenched it. The pressure then break it apart as it fell down into dust. What did you do? It seems I have a second stage of this ability. The ability to completely manipulate the gravity around me at any way I desire. Not just push and pull. Have you told Nagato about this? Oh, not yet, Naruto said. And after all, everyone must have their secrets. I don't like this, she said. Why are you keeping secrets from him? Oh, it's nothing too bad, said Naruto. I just found out about this ability recently. You're not gonna tell him, are you? As she looked at Naruto, we have company, she said. I know. He turned his head. Tell Yagura that I'm coming for him, he said. As he felt the presence vanish. As Naruto started to step forward, making his way, he was stopped at the gate. Who are you? One of the guards said. Is kunai already out? As he had sensed the pulse, 6 of them were there and that wasn't normal. As they were getting ready for whatever or whoever was coming. That is none of your concern, said Naruto as he stepped past. Last warning! Or death. Naruto said nothing as the man charged forward before he was slammed into the wall without mercy. The entire guard post started to bend as it exploded outwards. Splinter of wood flying everywhere. One of the large piece of bark slammed into one of their skulls, knocking them down. As the other 4 leaped towards Naruto before they were suspended in mid-air. As Naruto's tails emerged, 4 of them. His tails wrapped around their neck and snapped. Their body dropped to the ground, dead. As he tossed them aside. As Naruto continued to walk. As he felt the chakra signatures making their way. The Uzumakis. A smile came on his face. As he saw the old man, Rengoku. Naruto-sama, the man said. Naruto smiled. You're the older one here, said Naruto as he placed a hand on the man's shoulder. The man felt the same familiar warmth. But he didn't have red hair. He had dark black hair with purple eyes. Of all of you, change, said Naruto. Unfortunately, yes. We had to survive. Don't worry, said Naruto. All of this is over now. As Naruto looked towards Konoha. Can you take them a distance away from the village? What are you gonna do, she said. I'm gonna have a talk with the Mizukage. Nothing too long, he said. Rengoku looked at Naruto. Are you sure? That man is quite powerful. From what I've gathered so far, he has full control over his tail beasts. Oh, don't worry, said Naruto. The man then saw Naruto's eyes fully. I'll handle it. As Naruto started to walk forward as he saw the Uzumakis passing him, he smiled at them as he gestured for them to follow Rengoku. And so they did as they felt the warmth. Walking a few steps, Naruto saw a horde of ninjas descending down towards the Uzumakis. One of the serpents came from his back and lashed out. They didn't even get time to fall as the thing teared through their bodies. The few that managed to evade landed and threw kunai towards Naruto. A tail came out and deflected all of them. As he then slammed his hand on the ground, a massive stone barricade rose up before it came dropping down, splashing out the others that were behind it. As the Uzumakis walked off, all of them with their belongings, they never wanted to be a part of Kiri. As most of them were the older folks, they never gave up on their village. They just had to change because they knew that one day someone would help them though. So they never gave up. They knew that the Uzumakis will reform. That was their oath after all. The Uzumakis will never fall. Masters of fluent jutsus, masters of the art. They can never be erased. They can never be wiped out. As Naruto smiled at them as they passed him by, all of them watched how he did that with ease, not even breaking a sweat. As Naruto looked to see the rest of them coming towards him, a large group of shinobis now descending towards him. But The Mizukage was nowhere to be seen. Did this man really think that his troops could handle him? Naruto simply smiled as he bent his knees before leaping off the ground, breaking it while he jumped, using force to propel himself. As the Mizukage was currently sitting in his office, he had his eyes closed as his head tilted forward. The window then suddenly broke as Naruto burst right through it, landing right inside the room. The moment he did, several swords went towards his head to chop it right off from the Mizukage Anzu. But the swords are stopped in mid-air, the metals bending unnaturally before they snapped off. One tail emerged and slapped all of them away with such force their body hitting the wall. But Naruto wasn't done there. As he stepped forward, the entire tower shook, trembling under a superior weight. The bodies of the Anvu rise before they were sent sailing, breaking through the outer wall. Sorry to mess up your office, said Naruto, but your guys really don't know when to stand down. Why are you doing this? Naruto looked towards Mizukage. He was surprised at the man's, stature. He was rather short. He was wearing a green scarf. He had purple eyes. He had a line going on his face, like a scar. He was wearing another, green loose, footing over his pants. There was a staff resting up against the wall, with a strange flower design on the top. As Yagura looked at him, asked him, why are you doing this? Well, why? Well, I'm here for you, said Naruto. Yagura then gave a soft smile. I always want to ask my opponent why they're doing something like this, to see if it was a good reason or not. Because afterwards, it always ends the same way. And how is that, Naruto said, with the light draining from their eyes as I stand over their dead body. If I was a lesser man, that would have sounded quite intimidating, said Naruto. But I'm afraid your threats or your waving animosity won't work on me. I can already feel their ninjas, thousands of them making their way towards here. I'm surprised that you have that much, given the recent events. You will just be another example of what happened when someone interrupt or mess with Kiri. Another sport to those rebellions. Did they hire you? No. I am not any friend of anyone from Kiri, said Naruto. But before we start anything, can I ask you a question? By all means. A dead man should always get a last request, said Yagura. Were you a part of the annihilation of the Uzumaki clan? The Uzumaki clan. You know, despite my small stature, I am not a child. Indeed, I was there. It was a long time ago though, but I was there. I was a child back then, but I was still a part of the battle. After all, I had shown great promise. It was there I think my predecessor had seen me to be his successor. As Yagura smiled to himself. Is that so, said Naruto. And did you kill any, Naruto asked. Well, of course. They, and all others who are bloodline, needs to be exterminated from this world. You know, I heard about that. Your bloodline purge. So you hate them, said Naruto. Yes, all of them deserve to die. Including you as well. Given those eyes of yours, I can tell that you're not normal. So is that what you came to talk about? The dead Uzumakis that I slaughter. Should we get this on their hand? Naruto chuckled darkly. You know, I'm glad that Konoha and the others have made their way. So, as Naruto smiled darkly, I don't have to hold back, as his Rinnegan pulse. But guys, be in subscribe right here. If you want to see the next part of this new, like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn bell notifications to stay posted. Well, more for now. See you guys soon. Peace.